welcome back to the Little Goth Panda stream. How is everyone doing this fine Friday? Good Friday? That's been well past. I've got a few drinks tonight. I've got a few drinks for this one because this one is going to get a little bit intense. I can make fun of this guy. I can actually take the piss out of this guy because he is a genuine piece of shit, so we're going to do that anyway. However, his crimes are really horrific. So the crimes are absolutely horrific, but he is a cringy motherfucker to say the least. Like, genuinely, this guy is super, super cringy. So today we're going to be going into the life and crimes of Dennis Rader, so also known as BTK, which stands for bind them, torture them, kill them, which doesn't make any sense if I'm going to be completely honest with you. He does bind them, he does kill them, but the torture thing doesn't actually happen. Like, he never actually tortures anyone, which so yeah, it doesn't really make sense. So, want to give a huge disclaimer about this. So, this is a true crime stream. It is not hero worship. This is for historical and educational purposes only. This stream contains mentions of murder, violence, sexual assault, and just complete dickheadery, if I'm being honest with you. So this will be a trigger. This stream does have a trigger warning on it for anyone who has been affected by serial killers, true crime, violence, sexual assault, and murder. If you are not okay with listening to this, please cut off now. I completely understand. Also, would also like to point straight across that when I do get to the various crimes that he actually does commit, I will be warning you before I go into it, just to give you a little bit of a heads up. And as always, I will never show a picture of the criminal or the person that we're talking about in this case on this stream. I will never show a picture of them, so I'm never going to show you a picture of Dennis Rader throughout this entire thing. If you want to know what he looks like, you can just go Google him yourself. But I will be showing pictures of the victims because we care more about them than we do about anything else. Oh, for fuck's sake. Jonesy just referred to Charlotte and Barney as Charney and Bartlett. That's gonna stick, and I feel sorry for them. That's gonna stick. We'd also like to point out, if you are going to use sound alerts in this stream, please respect everything that we are talking about today. Also want to point out, I am also live on TikTok doing this to let them know what True Crime Fridays is all about. So if I'm not responding to you on TikTok, that is literally the reason why. Because it sounds like a tiny Barney. Bartlett. True. So, let's get started with this. BTK, aka Dennis Rader. So, Dennis Lynn Rader. So that's very different. So Dennis Lynn Rader, spell Lynn as in like your mum or your nana's best friend Lynn. So Dennis Lynn Rader was born on the 9th of March 1945 in Pittsburgh, Kansas, to Dorothea May Rader and William Elvin Rader. He is one of 4 sons to the couple. His brothers are Paul, Bill, and Jeff Rader. He was born in Pittsburgh, but he grew up in Wichita. Both of his parents worked incredibly long hours to support the family. Both barely paid any attention to their children at home. Rader later described feeling ignored by his mother in particular and resenting her for it. Yeah, your dad also ignored you, dickhead. Just want to point that out. Your dad also ignored you, not just your mother. It's not always your mother's fault. Just want to point that out to you. Guess it was just the times. It just must have been the times. So from a young age, Rader harbored sadistic sexual fantasies about torturing trapped and helpless women. He also exhibited zoodeism, which, if you do not know what zoodeism is, it is a pleasure derived from cruelty to animals. by torturing, killing, and hanging small animals, apparently. Apparently he was really into doing that. Rader acted out sexual fantasies for voyeurism, which is a sexual interest in a practice of watching other people engage in intimate behaviors, by the way. And autoerotic asphyxiation and cross-dressing. See, now, of all things, I don't know why. Well, this is a key thing. Bear in mind, a lot of these documentaries that talk about him are incredibly old. So they label that his sexual fantasy for cross-dressing was weird. Hi, Milk. How you doing? How you doing today, Milk? Of all things that he was into sexually, cross-dressing was classed as weird. Like, I'm just gonna point out, voyeurism, autoerotic asphyxiation, and zoodeism are probably a bit weirder than the cross-dressing. I mean, the bar? Come on! He often spied on his female neighbours while dressed in women's clothing, including women's underwear that he had stolen and masturbated with ropes or other bindings around his arms and neck. So basically he would tie himself up as if he's doing bondage on himself and then would get off to it. Each to their own. My favourite teacher died. So oh, right, Milk, this is going to get a very depressing stream. I'm not going to lie to you. I will try my best to cheer you up. I will very much try my best. Remember, DM's always open. But this stream's gonna be a bit of a dark one, to say the least. But remember, my DMs are always open, hon. Years later, during his cooling off periods between murders, Rader would take pictures of himself wearing women's clothing and a female mask while he was bound up. He did this all to himself, so I'm gonna... Like, when it came to him tying himself up, I'm gonna class that as a skill. Because if he's getting himself into some of the some extreme bondage shit on his own, he should have just stuck to that. He should have just become a dominatrix. I don't know what he was doing with the killings. Just become a dominatrix. Probably would have liked it a bit better. Hey DJ, how you doing? How you been today, DJ? So yeah, he later admitted that he was pretending to be his victims as part of a sexual fantasy. Oh no, you are kind of fucked up actually, dude. However, Rader kept his sexual fantasies well hidden and is widely regarded in his community as normal, polite, and well-mannered. Mate, you've got to be some kind of level of good actor to make people think you're normal when you're doing that behind closed doors. So, Rader also attended Kansas Wesleyan University after high school, but received mediocre grades and dropped out after just 1 year. He served in the United States Air Force from 1966 to 1970. Stressed and had enough of everything. I can relate. We're having some gin. So we got some gin and tonic on today's stream to ease it. I've got like 2 drinks, so I've got gin and tonic, and I've got rum and coke here. Now the reason why I've got both is because this is going to be a long one, and I don't want to be getting up. So upon discharge in 1970, he moved to Park City, where he worked in the meat department of a Leakers IGA supermarket, where his mother was a bookkeeper. Rader then married Paula Dietz on May 22nd, 1971, and they had 2 children together, Kerry and Brian Rader. He attended at Wichita State University and graduated in 1979 with a Bachelor of Science degree majoring in Administration of Justice. Can I just point out, we need to also clarify that from 1971 and into 1979, he's doing these murders. Can we just... The guy, how did he have the time? He had a full family, he had a job, and the guy even went to university to get a bachelor's degree. And he's still doing all these killings. Yo, dude, give me a motivation, but not your kind of motivation, you know what I'm saying? So Rader initially worked as an assembler for the Coleman Company, an outdoor supply company. He worked at the Wichita-based office of ADT Security Services from 1974 to 1988, where he installed security alarms as part of his job. In many cases, he installed these security alarms for homeowners that were concerned about BTK. So these people are shitting themselves about BTK, going around killing people and breaking into their houses to do it. They are going to this company, ADT, to get these security alarms installed in their homes, but the person who's installing them is BTK, and they have no idea, which is insane. I had a massive fire in my dad because I wasn't out on the water long enough, and that's because the train was late, but I can't help it. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry about that. Well, I'm going to try and cheer you up. I've done it before, I can do it again! I can cheer you up, I can make this entertaining as entertaining as I can. Hi, Wheelie! You have dope hair. Thank you so much! I did it last week. We'll give it about another week until I dye it again, because I'll be bored of it. It's gonna happen. It always does. So yeah, he installed these security alarms for the homeowners that were concerned about the BTK killings. Rader was also a census field operations supervisor for the Wichita area in 1989, before the 1990 federal census. When I say I do my research, I do my research. In May 1991, Rader becomes a dog catcher and compliance officer in Park City, and in this position, neighbors recalled him being sometimes overzealous and extremely strict, as well as taking special pleasure in bullying and harassing single women. One neighbor complained that Rader killed her dog for no reason. Now, Rader was also a member of the Christ Lutheran Church and has been elected president of their church council. Now, we have gone into his early life. We have gone into his little activities that he likes to do in between the murders. So how about we do what everyone wants and we go into the crimes. And like I say, I try my best to do justice of these and get the information right. So, we're going to start off with the first murders of BTK. Now, the first murders are... Sorry, let me just... First murders are the Otero family. The dude is so messed up, lol. Mate, you will not believe how messed up this dude gets. So this is the Otero family right here, as you can see to the side of me. So the Otero family are just a normal Hispanic family that live in the area. And they're a very nice, close-knit family. And don't worry, we will get into like them as individuals and them as a family. We'll get into them. I've got all the information for them. But on the 15th of January 1974, 4 members of the Otero family were brutally murdered in Wichita, Kansas. The victims were Joseph Otero, who was 38 years old, Julie Otero, who was 33, Joseph Otero Jr., who was 9, and Josephine Otero, who was 11. Now, their bodies were discovered by the family's 3 older children who had been at school at the time of the killings. Well, they say that the times are a bit iffy, but they weren't at home at the time of the killings. After his 2005 arrest, Rader confessed to the killing of the Otero family. He also wrote a letter that had been stashed inside an engineering book in the Wichita Public Library in October 1974, which described in detail the killing of the Otero family in January of that year. Did you ever watch the show Mindhunter? Super good at hearing serial killer stories. You know what? You're going to be disappointed in me. I actually haven't, but I've been meaning to. I just never had the time to do it. Shockingly enough, I don't like researching or watching this kind of stuff late at night. I try to, and I can't do it. So, I need to give it a go. You know what? I'm going to watch it this weekend. I'm going to make my boyfriend watch it as well. I need to show him the life of being obsessed with serial killers is about. So on the morning of the 15th of January 1974, BTK begins his spree. He has with him his hit kit, which is a briefcase packed with lengths of cord, hoods, plastic bags, tape, and wire cutters. He uses the latter to sever the phone ties. He waits by the back door, and sometime after 7 a.m., it opens to let the dog out. But before the dog can leave the house, Rader enters. Having done surveillance on the property already, so he stalks out his victims before he does anything else. It He expects to find a mother and daughter, and only the mother and daughter, and he nearly loses control of the situation entirely when he finds that the father and son are also there. So Rader pulls out his gun, and he first binds the wrists and ankles of Joseph, so 38-year-old Joseph. Rader does the same to the wife, and he also gags and strangles the father first to get the biggest out of the way, I guess. Then the mother, and then he takes Joseph Jr. Okay, so this one includes the death of a death of 2 children, actually. So if you do not want to listen to the death of 2 children, please, you can turn off. You can mute it. And when the picture changes, that will be the signal that I've stopped talking about it. Okay? Or I'll do this. I'll wave my hand, and that means I've stopped speaking about the children, their murders. Okay? So, I'm reading this at the same time. He takes Joseph Jr. to his bedroom, binds his wrists, he covers the boy's head in the hood, he then sits and watches as the child slowly suffocates. Now, he then moves on to the real target of the family, which is Josephine. He takes the 11-year-old down to the basement and hangs her from a pipe in the basement. Now, he hasn't sexually assaulted any of his victims but once Josephine is dead, he masturbates and finishes. Afterwards, he methodically goes through each room that he's killed in and cleans away any evidence. Before leaving, he steals his first memento, the father's watch, which he would add to his collection that he called the Motherlode. So he didn't call them trophies, he called them the Motherlode, which is the most Alan Partridge thing I've ever heard on the planet. That afternoon, the eldest child, Charlie Otero, comes home and finds that his family is dead. Right? I've stopped talking about the child murders. You good? You can come back. So the police investigate and find that right up to the point of their death, none of the Otero family resisted, as there are no defensive marks. It's as if the killer had persuaded them that the murder wasn't his intention at all. However, Rader might have persuaded his victims like later on, so he does actually end up trying to persuade a lot of his victims so that there's not a lot of fighting, I guess. So let's go into the actual family. So we're just going to start off with, where's my finger? There we go. Joseph Otero. Now, he was born on the 18th of March 1935. He was born in Puerto Rico. He served in the Air Force for more than 20 years, retiring as a Master Sergeant, and was working as a mechanic and flight instructor. Now, he was fun and outgoing. He was very talented. He was a very talented bongo player with a fascination for cars. He was a gourmet chef at one point who collected recipes when traveling to exotic areas during his military career. He was also a strict but proud father with high ideals for his children, but that's kind of standard around the time. That's actually pretty normal behavior, especially when it came to schoolwork. But all in all, he was a very loving father. So Julia... Wait, where's my finger? Julia Otero was born the 31st of January 1940 in Puerto Rico. She was a petite, kind-spirited Air Force wife. She didn't drink and she didn't have a temper. She was apparently very calm and sweet to everyone who knew her. She was passionate about her culture, and she also encouraged her children to learn to speak Spanish as well as English. Her life was devoted to her family. Her oldest child, Charlie, described her as an angel, and she also had a brown belt in judo, which she took lessons with her children while she was on the base. There isn't actually much on the children, but Joseph Jr. was born on the 1st of October 1964 in Puerto Rico. He was only 9 years old when he died, but he was a happy child and loved going to judo with his mother. Also goes the same for Josephine, who was born on the 18th of February 1962 in Puerto Rico. So between the spring of 1973 and winter 1977, Rader killed 3 more women, who we are going to go into now. If it would let me, da 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 da. Okay, so this woman right here is Catherine Bright. Catherine Bright was one of 5 children. She loved singing in the church choir with her sister and friends. After she graduated from high school in 1971, she worked for Coleman. At the age of 21, Catherine was a smart, popular, and funny college student. So on the 4th of April 1974, Rader busted through her screen door wearing a stocking cap, carrying a Magnum and a 22 rifle. Wait, no gun? I don't know anything about guns, I'm going to be honest with you. But was stunned to find her 5'6", 115-pound brother, 19-year-old Kevin, was with her. Rader knew something needed to be done about there. Bloody words. So he knew something needed to be done about Kevin before he could fulfill his sexual fantasies with Catherine. He could not recall if he brought his own tools, but he told them he needed a car to get away because he was wanted in California, which is very weird behaviour, I'm not gonna lie. First he made Kevin tie up Catherine. He then tied Kevin by his feet to the bedpost before he moved Catherine to another bedroom to tie her down. When Kevin put up a strong fight, Rader shot him in the head with his 22 gun. Well, .22 rifle, I'm going to guess. I don't know. And figured that he was down. After he believed that she was dead, he heard noises from Kevin in the other bedroom. While attempting to strangle Kevin, Rader was worried Kevin would grab his Magnum from the shoulder holster, and Rader stuck his finger in the weapon to apparently try to jam it. He either bit or hit Kevin and then shot him again and believed Kevin was down. He returned to finish off Catherine, who was still fighting for her life. Unable to strangle her to death, he stabbed her with a knife in the lower back and under her ribs in the abdomen and left her for dead. Rader checked back in on Kevin, expecting to find him dead, but he was running down the street when he found him. He quickly cleaned up the mess and attempted to steal their pickup truck, but even though he had the keys, he couldn't get the truck started. He then ran 4 to 5 blocks to Wichita State University, where his car was parked. Now, Kevin survived being shot twice, which is incredible. So he was actually so obviously he was bleeding immensely. Now, at this point, Catherine Cole was still slightly alive. She was still alive when Rader had left the house. She crawled to the living room phone. She told the police she didn't know who this was before she died from numerous stab wounds. Over 30 years later, when Rader was arrested, the Boy Scout knife used to kill Catherine was still in his kitchen pantry. Dude, do you not get new knives after 30 years? He initially changed his MO so police wouldn't link the Bright murder with the Ontario murder, so he was constantly changing the game so that he would never actually get detected. In October, Rader writes his first BTK letter for the Wichita Eagle Beacon newspaper. He places it in a book in a library and rings a reporter with its name and location. The letter seeks to both claim responsibility and acknowledgement of the evil of the murders, whilst at the same time seeking the blame on the monster in the murderer's mind. The letter ends, "Yours truly guilty," and is signed off. The code word for me will be bind them, torture them, kill them, BTK. Now, this communication will be the first of many, and it is needed for public recognition and respect from his pursuers, the police, that will eventually lead to his arrest, trial, and imprisonment. So, yeah, he comes up with his own nickname, which is cringy enough as it is, but also the fact that he also gets it wrong. What you say, Milk Panda? I don't fucking know your real name or anything. That's crazy, but you don't know how much I appreciate you and how much you saved me. You turn on stream and my mood goes up. You saved me so much. You don't even know how much I'm so thankful. I see you as a friend and it makes me feel safe because I don't have much friends in real life. I love you. Oh, Milk! Milk, I love you. That is the sweetest thing ever. That is, mate. I don't know what to say. That is so sweet. I'm glad that I can boost your mood and try and make things better. Like that's the aim. That's the aim with this. So thank you so much. But that is absolutely sweet. Oh my god. I'll drop you a message once we've finished with Dennis Rader. And I've also got like a new accessory for the stream that I'm gonna show after this as well. I find it. I know what to say. Yes, MK? I've got something new. You want cat ear time? But how about I one-up it? This is a true crime podcast. This is a true crime stream. Do not feel sorry. You want cat ear time or do you want panda ear time? I can do cat ear time. It's up to you. Cat ear time or panda ear time? What are you feeling? Look at him. It matches the brand. Panda? Love it. Yep. Panda is poggers. Panda is poggers. Right, so yeah, back to it. Dennis Rader actually came up with his own nickname, obviously BTK, which isn't accurate because he didn't actually torture them. So it's not accurate. I think he just tried to make himself sound cool. He went through so many names though. So BTK actually went through so many nicknames. A lot of them sounded like wrestling names as well, which was so weird. So he went through quite a lot of them. And this isn't going to be the first time where Dennis Rader does a lot of cringy shit to try and make himself look cool. So by his third kill, Rader had developed a signature, attacking during the day, cutting telephone lines, and then executing his murderous MO according to his way that he did everything. So on the 17th of March 1977, he tries to put into operation Project Green. This is all him, by the way. This is what he does. But his intended target's away, ready to kill, but frustrated, he wanders into the streets and comes across a child returning home. Now, so he planned on the 17th of March to kill someone else. But that person that he was planning to kill was actually not home and wasn't going to be home for a long time. I don't know why, but I enjoy this story so much. It's very interesting. It is really interesting. This is why I like talking and researching this stuff. And not a lot of my friends really like this kind of topic. They don't really take interest in true crime. So this is the reason why I do it on Twitch, because dude, I've got no one to talk to about this. I think it's very sad. And sometimes I find out about some cases, I'm like, someone has got to know, and that is not just me. I don't know. So the next victim that we're going to be talking about is Shirley Vian. Hey Seven, how you doing? So yeah, on this particular day, on the 17th of March 1977, he is going to try and actually kill someone else, but they're not in and they weren't going to be home for some time. So instead he leaves the house. He's very frustrated and pissed off at this point. Now he sees a child on their way home, and he shows, now this child's only like 5 years old. He goes up to the child and shows a photo of his own wife and kids, asking if he knew who they were, and telling the kid that he's a private detective seeking information. I know, they're all so beautiful. They're just beautiful women, and it just absolutely fucking sucks what happened. Gay Vibes is in the house, and Gay Vibes is in the house. My number one is here. My number one is here. There you go. You got your entrance. Are you happy? You happy you got your entrance? Unfortunately, talking about this stuff usually devolves into me figuring out how they should have gone away with it. Yeah, to be fair, mate, this guy could have not gotten... This guy probably wouldn't have gotten caught. And I'm going to tell you how he got caught later on, and believe me, it is dumb. So... yeah, he goes up to this kid with a picture of his wife and kids, and he says to them, have you seen these people before? And tells the boy he's a private investigator and he's trying to seek some information. So the boy shakes his head and says that he doesn't know who they are and continues walking home. So Rader watches where the boy goes and follows him, knocking on the boy's door and persuades the boy to allow him in the house. So now he's entering the home of Shirley. I'm doing fine, Gay Vibes. I'm doing absolutely lovely. We're just talking about Dennis Rader right now. So please be respectful if you are going to use sound alerts, because, yeah, these are sensitive subjects, and I don't want to be having any of that stuff. Panda hype. So Shirley was a mother of 3. She was 26 years old, and she always seemed happy and loved to sing in the church choir. She was a good mother to all 3 of her children, Bud, Stephen, and Stephanie. On the 17th of March 1977, she was homesick from work when her son returned home with... Was gonna do it, lol. Now, yeah, just leave it until after we finish talking about, murder, I guess. So she was homesick from work when her son returned home with Rader behind him. So when the boy let Rader into the home, he turned off the television, and Rader closed the blinds and pulled out a 357 Magnum gun out from under his jacket. Shirley came out of her bedroom in her robe, begging him to not harm the children. He said, "I'm not going to," and he started to tie up the oldest child, who was 8. He said, this is what he said when he was confessing to the crimes, by the way. So he says, and I quote, "I told Miss Vine that I had a problem with sexual fantasies, that I was going to tie her up, and that I might have to tie the kids up. And if she would cooperate with us, we went back to the back porch, and she was extremely nervous." So yeah, so he takes her out to the back porch. He needed Shirley to help him move the 3 crying children from the bedroom to the bathroom to tie them up. So they all attempted to make the children comfortable with blankets and toys, just to make sure that they'd stay quiet. They attempted to make... So he wedged the door to the bathroom shut and tied the door completely closed. So Shirley pleaded with them to stay in the bathroom, and all 3 of them did. If they did actually manage to get out of the ties, then they'd have to stay there. That's pretty much what her instructions were, to make sure they'd stay safe. Shirley, because obviously she was sick and obviously terrified, she actually vomited when Rader was tying her up. Now, he actually weirdly brought her a glass of water and comforted her before he continued tying her legs to the bedpost. Now, he worked his way up and looped the rope around her neck, placed a plastic bag over her head, and strangled her with the rope. Now, the children... Who is the ugly person other than you? Gay vibes. This is the person that we're talking about who's just been murdered. This is Shirley, and she is gorgeous, and she unfortunately lost her life to Dennis Rader. That is... Oh. I never show any pictures of the murderer, by the way. I only show pictures of the victims. So please be respectful. So the children screamed and banged as their mother was being murdered through the opening of the door. So they could only slightly see what was going on through like a crack in the door, but so they could actually see everything that was going on. So Rader planned on killing the children too, similar to the Ontario murders, when the little boy threatened to go get help. He said, and Rader said, "I'll shoot you, blow your head off." Yeah, don't be in love with murderers. This is a victim, dude. After he placed Shirley on her bed, taped her feet and ankles, and tied up her arms, crossed over the small of her back. He said, in bondage world, that's pretty high stuff. Yeah, you're funny, Rader, aren't you? You're fucking funny. No murderers are cute, gay vibes. Don't be saying that here. I'll 100% disagree with you on that. I do not think any murderers are attractive. I think they're fucking scum. A ringing telephone interrupted Rader's sexual fantasies about killing the children, saving their lives. Instead, he put a plastic bag over Shirley's head and tied it with a pink nightgown. He quickly gathered his briefcase, tape, ropes, and anything he brought, stole her panties on his way out, and he would wear them himself when he got out of the house, which is fucking weird. The children unsuccessfully attempted to escape by breaking the window, and by the time they got out of the door, Rader was gone and their mother was dead. Her young son even tried to untie her hands. Young Stephen gave police an accurate description of the attacker, but the police, and this is where the police yet again fuck up. There's always something in any serial killer like investigation where they immensely fuck up. Don't feel lonely. Why do you feel lonely? What's up? So, yeah, he gave an accurate description of the attacker, but they weren't confident that a child was a reliable witness. Stephen would help because no BF. I don't know how I can help. I don't know how I can help with that situation. Stephen would help with getting Rader sentenced because when he would hear and see Rader at his first court appearance, he knew by his voice and how he looked, even like 30 years later, that was him. But yeah, he gave an accurate description of Dennis, and the police ignored it because they thought that a child's witness account wasn't reliable enough. Like, you could have at least gotten his witness account, did a fucking sketch. Literally, you could have just collected it just in case, and just could have just had it there just in case. But no, you had to be dicks. So on the 8th of December 1977, Rader breaks form by 1, breaking a window to enter, and 2, by attacking during the night. So this is very different. This time his target is 25-year-old Nancy Fox. So by December 1977, Rader became obsessed with stalking 25-year-old Nancy Fox. On the 8th of December, he cut the phone lines yet again, and then broke into her modest duplex from the back door. He walked into her home. He waited in her home for her to get back from her job at the jewelry store. Since she lived alone, he had no trouble surprising her in the kitchen at gunpoint. He told her that he had a sexual issue, and that in order to get rid of that issue, he had to tie her up and rape her. I like her necklace. Yeah, she's so pretty, isn't she? After being allowed to partly disrobe herself in the bathroom, he ordered her. I'm going to warn you right now, this part's pretty grim. Just want to point a warning out there. It's not nice, this part. So after being allowed to partly disrobe herself in the bathroom, he ordered her to the bedroom. He tied her up and undressed herself. He then started to strangle her. And as he strangled her, he confessed to her who he really was, which already lets her know straight away that she's not going to survive this. And what he had done in the past. Her body was later found with his stuffs on her nightgown that was next to her. The following day, on his way to work for the ADT alarm company, he called the local police department and said, and I quote, "Yes, you will find a homicide at 843 Sound Pershing, Nancy Fox. That is correct." And then he left the receiver dangling and just left it there. The police rushed to the house and found Nancy's body strangled to death. The police tried to replay the recording of his voice many times, but never found a match. Early 1978, Rader sent a sarcastic poem called Shirley Locks to the Wichita Eagle newspaper. After the poem was a serious letter, BTK was again taking responsibility for the past 7 homicides. It was written the same way as the letter that was found in 1974, including Factor X, which was apparently the reason for him to commit these horrible crimes in the first place. The next letter that was found was mocking the murder of Nancy Fox, entitled "Oh Death to Nancy," which was mimicking the song "Oh Death." Do you like my new profile picture on the Discord? Let me see. Yeah, interesting. Eyes. They are eyes. Well done, gay vibes. So with writing the letters, he echoes the Zodiac Killer's letters to the media over his next communications and specifically compares himself to other serial killers such as Jack the Ripper and Son of Sam, aka David Berkowitz. He continues to both express remorse and distance himself from his crimes. On the 28th of April 1979, he breaks and enters into the home of his next victim. He sits and waits, but the woman doesn't arrive home. Rader leaves and later writes a letter for the intended victim to show how close they actually came to meeting. Years pass before he actually kills again. So he doesn't kill again until 1985. So he doesn't kill again for like another 6 years. Now the reason, literally bang on almost... Thank you, Fatty Watty. Very interesting username right there. But thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? So he doesn't kill again until the 28th of April, until the 27th of April 1985. And bear in mind, his last attempted kill was on the 28th of April 1976. So literally almost bang on 6 years. He doesn't kill again because during this time he has a daughter. He was involved in his church, and once his son became old enough, Rader became a Boy Scout leader, and he now had 2 kids, Brian and Kerry. Yeah, gay vibes, you tell him. So yeah, he was just really involved with the leading the Boy Scouts during this time. So he actually didn't have any time anymore to murder, which is weird, considering he was doing it with when he was trying to get a fucking bachelor's degree. So the next murders take place on the 27th of April 1985, and the victim is Marianne Hedge. So Marianne Hedge was a 53-year-old widow, and she was described as a kind and gentle woman. Hedge and Rader actually lived on the same block for over 30 years in Park City. And on the 27th of April 1918, it's the woman. Oh my god, we've not just got a troll in here within like the first like few minutes of you following. Please do not tell me we're having this again. You're gonna take care of this. Do not worry. I'm waiting to ban so quick. I will ban. We don't stand homophobia in this stream. This stream is LGBTQ plus friendly. Yeah, if you're just a troll, then get out. Otherwise, you're just getting banned anyway. So either way, you're just gonna leave. Do not stand. All this kind of stuff. Sup TikTok, are you still here? How you doing? One more homophobic, transphobic comment equals a ban. Yes, it does. So anyway, back to Marianne. Do not mess with... Yeah, don't mess with minors anyway. Dude, what the fuck? So, on the 27th of April 1985, Rader was in the middle of a Boy Scout meeting when he stated that he had a headache and needed to leave to get medicine. So he left and walked to his car that was at a nearby bowling alley. He went inside and bought a beer. He swished the beer in his mouth and then spat it out, purposely spilling some in his clothing, giving onlookers the illusion that he had been drinking. He called a cab pretending to be drunk and told the driver to take him to Park City. Once he got to Marianne's home, he saw her car and assumed that she was home. He cut the phone lines like usual and quietly opened the back door to sneak in. He realized no one was home and waited in her bedroom until he saw a car pull into the driveway. Marianne Hedge and another man walked into the house. Rader came out of hiding and turned on the bathroom light and jumped on top of Marianne, choking her to death. Once she had died, he dragged her body outside to the trunk of her car. He drove her to the church that he went to regularly, and because he was such a trusted member in the church community, he had keys to the building, so he had easy access. He put a black plastic bag over the window so no one could look inside, and then he dragged her body to the basement of the church. He then photographed the body in the multiple different poses before putting her body back in the trunk of the car and driving off. He dumped her body in a ditch along a dirty road not far from their home in Park City. So on the 16th of September 1968, Rader dons his hit clothes. He wears a uniform of a telephone repairman and carries a company manual and fake identification, all of which helps persuade Vicky Wegerly to let him in. So the next victim is Vicky. Vicky is so in September of 1986, Vicky is 28 at the time, and she is a mother of 2 children. And she had recently caught Rader's eye. He would walk by her house during the day and listen to her play the piano. So he'd constantly stalk her before he even went to the house. She does look like a painting. I thought she looked like a painting. She looks absolutely gorgeous. He thought his murder out carefully, and he called this murder the PJ Project. So one thing that he did with each of the murders is that he called them a specific project and give them all like specific nicknames, which is fucking weird. At 10 a.m. on September the 16th, Rader dressed up as a telephone repairman and knocked on her door. She let him into her home, thinking that he was going to fix the phone line, because he cuts the line before he does any of the murders. And he told her that he was going to tie her up. Hey Laura, how are you doing? Thank you for the follow and welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. How's your day going? Yeah, that is true. So at gunpoint, he forced her into the bedroom and tied her up, but she gave him a fight, causing cuts and scratches on Rader. So she actually fought for her life. He took a rope and stopped her fighting by choking her to death, and after that he took photos of the body in different positions, then left and stole her car. I really hope your name's Laura. I tend to call people by their nicknames, by their usernames anyway, so if I ever met any of you guys in person, this is going to be so freaking weird. Soon after that, her husband, Bill, said that he saw his own car going in the opposite direction of the house, but could not identify the driver. When he arrived home, he saw his 2-year-old son by himself in the living room, and he searched the house for his wife and soon found her on the floor behind the bed in their bedroom. Vicky was rushed to the hospital, but was pronounced dead after a few hours. It's like, oh my god, can you imagine? Yes, I would definitely do that. I'd do your introduction, but I'd do it in public. If I could. So as this was happening, Rader was disposing of the evidence and parked the car just a few blocks away from the home. He went to his own home, changed his clothes, and once again got away with murder. Hi, I'm okay, thank you. How are you? I'm very good, Laura. How are you doing? I'm very, very good. We're just talking about serial killers right now. So I hope you're having a very lovely day, and I hope you're happy to join us. Yes, we did just have a homophobic guy. So as this was happening, we already talked about that. I'm rereading stuff. Her husband Bill not only had to deal with the loss of his wife and the mother of his children, but he becomes and remained for years the chief suspect for her murder. So for years, until Rader eventually gets caught and confesses, he is known as the main suspect. So he's got people all around the town thinking that he's this horrible murderer that's murdered his wife. And he's just suffering with all this because so many people think that he's guilty, and clearly it just sucks for the guy. I feel like I hate this. I hate Dennis Rader. Fuck him. Obviously, I hate the guy. So the next victim is Dolores D. Davis. She was 63 years old. In 1991, Rader found older women to be more vulnerable from past experiences with younger women. Basically, I think I genuinely just think that as soon as Vicky fought back, he was kind of like, I'm done with that. Mate, girl aged well. So Rader found an older woman who was 62 and lived on her own, Dolores Davis. Davis lived a mile and a half away from Rader, where he noticed her at her home. He had a very well thought out plan to get what would be his last victim. He was going camping with the Boy Scouts over the weekend. On the 19th of January 1991, he came up with an excuse to slip away from one of the scout meetings. How the hell is he doing this? He drove his car to his parents' house to change out of his scout uniform and into his hit clothes. He then drove to the Baptist church in Park City to park his car and finish his plan out on foot. Once he got to the Davis house, he waited outside until he saw that she was asleep. He broke the glass door at the back of the house with a cement block that he found. Dolores came out of her bedroom and found Rader. He used the same line as he had almost every time, saying that he needed money, a car, food, and that he was going to tie her up. Hey, how you doing? He tied her up in the bedroom and strangled her to death. Rader took the body outside and put her in the trunk of her own car. He drove to a lake near Park City and hid the body and evidence under some trees. He then drove the car back to Davis's house, wiped it down for fingerprints, and then left to go back to the church. He went back to where he hid the body and put it in his trunk and dumped the body under a bridge in Sedgwick County. Rader then went somewhere to change back into his scout uniform and returned back to the camp. The following evening, he went back to where he left the body and took photographs of it. So he actually went back. Let's also remember this. The guy went back to the body just to take more pictures of it because he wasn't done with his sick sexual fantasy. Woo! Get him! So guys, we're going to go into the catching of BTK. It is all winding down now. So from 1991 to 2004, BTK stayed in what he would say is hiding. No one heard from him for over 10 years, but on the 30th anniversary of the Otero murder, the Wichita Eagle newspaper ran an article about the crime and BTK. You're just fueling him. You're just fueling him. A book by Robert Beatty came out about the nightmare that haunted Wichita, Kansas, aka BTK. This book and article actually angered Dennis Rader because he thought that they were trying to tell his own story. So he wasn't happy if someone else was telling his story. He had to get his own little thing pushed in there. Hey homophobic people, hope you told them to get lost. Love anything to do with serial killers. Yep, told them to get lost. And if they come back, it's immediate blockage, ban, report, the whole shebang. Got mods here to make sure everyone is safe. Do not worry about it. And I'm glad you are interested in serial killers because Friday's streams are going to be perfect for you then because we do this every single Friday. I will talk shit to him. Yeah, gay vibes will defend us. I just realised I can take these off now because it's been 10 minutes since Pandaria time. On the 17th of March 2004, Rader made a letter to the Wichita Eagle from an undercover name, which is Bill Thomas Killman. Oh, you fucking cringy cunt. You cringy bastard. Are you kidding me? I'm reading this out. I've typed this up, but every single time I reread it, I'm just like, you cringy bastard. His undercover name, Bill Thomas Killman. BTK. Bill Thomas Killman. Killman. Sorry, not gone. I read your comments on TikTok and see. Yeah, banned him. Good on you, Em. Thank you, Em. We don't have any hate speech in this stream. I'm telling you now, we don't do that. So yeah, he uses his undercover name as Bill Thomas Killman, aka BTK. The envelope had 3 photocopy pictures of the ones he took of Vicky and her driver's license, then signed it with the same signature that had been used in the previous letters. The letter was sent to the FBI, and the investigation team on BTK started again. So the case has actually been closed for about 10 years now. He'd actually gone completely cold, and they hadn't really bothered to deal with it until this happened, because he just couldn't handle other people talking about him. This is why I say he's fucking stupid at times. He's fucking stupid, especially in his whole little egotistical mindset that he has. This is why he's such an egotistical little piece of shit, and he's so fucking annoying. Anyway, so yeah, he sent another letter on the 5th of May 2004 to Keiki TV. It was a word puzzle that contained a deeper meaning with letters and numbers. Next, on the 9th of June 2004, he left a package tape to sign in the middle of the city, which had a gruesome description of the Otero murders and a sketch of a dead body hanging by a rope. He titled the sketch, "The Sexual Thrill is My Bill." Oh, fuck off! The sexual thrill is my bill? Mate! Go away! Why? On the 17th of June 2004, there was another package labelled BTK that was found at the Wichita Public Library. In this letter, Rader explained that time was running out for him and he wanted to wait for the right time for his next hit. The fifth item that dropped by Rader was on the 22nd of October 2004, and it was found by a UPS driver. It's found by a UPS driver. There was a collage of children with bindings drawn across their bodies and faces inside the manila envelope. It also contained an autobiography that listed false details about BTK. For example, the year he was born and the area that he lived in to mislead the police officers. Just 8 days after Rader became the president of the church council at the Christian Lutheran Church, there was a special K box. Right. This is a thing that I kind of find funny, but I'm also like, mate, the cringe is ridiculous. So, he got a box of Special K, you know, the cereal Special K. So there was a box of Special K with markings BTK and bomb in the back of a pickup truck. Inside the box was information of his projects that he had watched or stalked, along with even more misleading information. Also inside the box was a question asking if there was a floppy disk. Right, this is funny. This bit's funny. This is so fucking funny. Right, this is where he gets fucking stupid. Mwah. No, I can't. No, not right now. I've got to do true crime shit. I can't do that now. I can't do. Refund it for now. Can I do it after true crime's done? I can't do in real life word ban during that. I can't. It's impossible. Yeah, I'll do it after. I will do the in real life word ban after I finish talking about the true crime case, because that's just not going to make... I've got to do the information accurately, and I can't mess it up. Yes, after the true crime case, you can remind me. That is completely fine. But I can't while I'm reading it out. That's just going to make shit so impossible. True Crime Fridays is a serious segment on here. Like, remember, I take this shit seriously. So yeah, inside the box was information of his projects that he had watched or stalked, along with even more misleading information. Also inside the box was a question. Thank you, for the host. Beautiful, beautiful human. Thank you for the host. Panda, I love your smile. I just realised that. Oh, Milk! Thank you. I hate it, but thank you. I'm glad you like it. I hate it, but yeah. Right, where was I up to? Jesus Christ. Also inside the box, so inside the Special K box was a question asking if there was a floppy disk made, would it be able to be traced back to the computer that he used to make it? Dude genuinely asked the police and the FBI. Oh my god, it goes on. Dude, that went on for way much longer. Oh my god, no. Yeah, so this guy genuinely went to the police and the FBI with a floppy disk that he got sent to them and said, we sent them the cereal box with a question inside it that said, if I sent you a floppy disk, would you be able to trace it back to the computer that I used to make it? So naturally the police were like, no, of course we can't do that. Of course we can't trace back a floppy disk to the computer. 100% can't do that. Which is an obvious lie. The next clue was found, Hello, motherfucker. Fucking hell. I'm not even done with the true crime. Why is, I thought you banned him. Oh no, we can't. Oh wait, no, I think he can still actually do that in the streams. The police replied no, which was a massive lie. The next clue was found when another serial box. The next clue was another serial box discovered on the 25th of January 2005, when he sent directions to Keiki TV on where to find the box. Inside the box was a doll with rope around its neck and tied to a pipe, simulating the murder of Josephine Otero. The 10th drop was a postcard that arrived on the 3rd of February 2005 that was sent to Keiki, saying that he was going to send a floppy disk. So now he's been told that if he sent a floppy disk, it will not be traced back to him, which is a massive lie. So he's actually sent the floppy disk at this point. Please do not annoy me right now. I am really trying to talk about this true crime case. Seriously. So when the 11th was found 13 days later at the studio, the police analysed the floppy disk, which was drawn back to the Christ Lutheran Church under the name Dennis. I'm trying to talk about serious fucking crimes here, guys. I'm trying to talk about serious murders, not the time. You can do it afterwards. It's fine afterwards. Mate, people died, dude. So anyway, yeah, they traced the floppy disk back to the church, and I hate you guys. No, you can't just like, oh fucking hell, I hate this so much right now. I'm gonna I'm still gonna carry on with the case because it's True Crime Fridays, and I'm sticking to it. Does not change the fact that I'm annoyed. So anyway, they trace the floppy disk back to the church, and they find that the floppy disk is made under the name Dennis. And they also look at the church and find the name of the president is Dennis Rader. He's also the only Dennis that works at the church. So they drive past his home one day in an undercover police vehicle and saw a family car from past security cameras. It was Rader's black Jeep. Now the police asked his daughter Kerry for a DNA sample, saying that it was for a medical record. But in reality, the police were using it to match the semen found at the past crime scenes by BTK. The Wichita Police Department found a match and finally solved the BTK murders after 30 years. So on the 25th of February 2005, the WPD surrounded Rader's car after a lunch at work and led him to a waiting police car where he was handcuffed. No.
Okay, no, this is a really bad idea, but I'm already here, so... Right. Extreme noses on you. Ooh, you're so bored. Couldn't help but notice your both from across the floor. Noses, you're Nicky, like you tell baby, too, but hee-hee. Unzip so baggy, is gentle, baby, you so musky. Take me home, pet me, and make me yours, and don't forget to stuff me, see me like my little baby.
Of all things to play, when someone's just been arrested for murder. Why did I allow this sound to be played? So now we go on to the trial. So the same day Rader was arrested, he was taken into an interrogation room where at first he did not talk at all, but he soon opened up and gave very little detail. So by the end, Rader had given about a 30-hour confession. So eventually he starts to speak, and he just does not shut up, as most of them just don't shut up. In his confession, he talked highly about his crimes, and it was evident that he was proud of what he had done, and that he liked the publicity that he had been given. The next day, Rader took his first mugshot and realized that the police were not on his side. So he thought this entire time that the police were actually like best mates with him, which is why. On the 1st of March, the public was finally able to see a live video of BTK receiving the charges against him before he was found guilty. The court had a lot of evidence against Rader after they searched his home. They found his mother lode, which contained the original BTK letters, victims' driver's licenses, photos that were taken, cutouts from newspaper articles, and artwork that was found in a cabinet in his home office. Rader's family and friends were devastated when they heard that Dennis was BTK. Many who knew him said that they wouldn't have thought or suspected him to be capable of committing those actions that he was being accused of. His wife Paula did an emergency divorce not long after his arrest. Oh my god. Dennis Rader's court case started on the 27th of July 2005. For all 10 victims, Rader confessed, and with much detail and zero remorse. Pleading guilty, family members from each victim were able to speak, telling Rader the hatred they have for him and how they will never be able to see their loved ones again. After that, Rader was able to give a statement where he talked for 20 to 30 minutes on what was supposed to be an apology, but he mainly talked about himself. It was very obvious to the court and the millions of viewers that he was not truly sorry for his actions and that he liked the attention that he was getting. On the 18th of August 2005, Judge Waller sentenced Dennis Rader to life in prison. Rader would not be eligible for parole until 2180. He was also not allowed access to materials that would fulfill his fantasies, so there's a lot of things that he's not allowed to have. On the 19th of August 2005, Rader was taken to his new home, the El Dorado Correctional Facility in El Dorado, Kansas. Also, one thing that they also found was a DVD that he had recorded a few years ago, which was Dennis Rader